All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this live session. I'm excited today. Why am I excited today? I am just excited today. Okay, so maybe because I have been all about books in the last few days. It's been books. And why is that? It's because our pre-order sale is ending in one day, in 24 hours. Yes. So by maybe a little longer than 24 hours. So on the 31st of July, the 20% discount on all of our books, our new books, will be off. Pre-order will be over. And I have been particularly excited about this set of books that I wrote this year. Talk about when you actually, sit to do something, right, from, I don't know, from the depth of your heart. It's not like, other times that I don't write from the depths of my heart. But this particular time, I was right inside every single book that I wrote in a way that was emotional, that was, very personal, right? My editor, after editing my books this year, sent me a message, and she said to me, I don't know where you draw the perspective for these books, but I want to say thank you for what you're doing for these children and for families today. That touched my heart, right? It really, really touched my heart. It was such that my editor went on editing my books without even bothering to give me a bill. She went on and on and on and on, like as she was doing, she would do, is the next one ready? She would go, is the next one ready? Like, auntie, you will not even bill me. That's how drawn she was, into the stories, that we wrote this year. And I wrote this, as I said, from a personal place. What's that, from, as in, it's personal. What's that thing? I was able to go back memory lane, right, when I was writing, and I did this. I even did this exercise when I was writing the books this year. I kept on going back to the experiences with my children. So our children are much older, and our son is almost 17. Our daughter is 11. But when I was writing this time, I made sure I was watching a lot of videos, and we have a huge collection of them. I tell people this thing we don't start on to do. Okay. So I have like a whole collection of stories from when our son was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and because reading has always been a huge part of our parenting. It was something that we got right from the very beginning. So it's always been there. And we have created memories along the line, right? So I was able to go back to those memories. So I wrote, from that place. I wrote, like, what are the things we were doing, with our children at this age? What were the things we were reading at this age? What were the things that the kids loved to read about, at this age? What were the stories that intrigued them? I remember I shared once or twice, right, sometime last month, our son's first book. It was because I was in that place, and while I was writing, I went to dig out their first books. We still keep those books. Our son's first book, we all know, it's Happy Birthday, Barnabas Bear. So all of us in our home, his sister, we all know that this was his first book. And our daughter's first book too. Our daughter's first book, or the earliest book that she read. She used to like this one with her dad, Just Right for Christmas. She would read that book with us. She would read it with her dad. She loved that book, and then, of course, her first chapter books, so when I was writing the transition books for children, I put her first chapter book, right in front of me mentally. The experience when she wrote that first chapter book, I can see it. I can see it, like clear picture of it. When our daughter read her first chapter book, right, she was about 4 or 5-ish. She read that book and she was jubilating, like she was dancing, she was excited, like, oh, my first chapter book and all of that. It was just one choppy little book with, 5 chapters. I remember 5 chapters, choppy chapters, lots of pictures and all of that. But it made her, it built, confidence in her. It made her feel like someone that had moved from reading just, story reading just picture books and books that what do you call it, prop books and all of that. She felt like someone who was reading something more. She's now a big girl, she was reading big girls kind of book, that kind of thing. So I wanted to create that kind of book also for your little ones. For those of you who have your 4-year-olds, your 5-year-olds who love to read and would like to transition into the next level of books. That's why we wrote this book. So, as I said, they are such beautiful books that every child would love to read. And so if you have not ordered our books, if you haven't ordered my new books, please go and get copies for your children. They will love it. They will love these books, because these books are beautiful. They are amazing. They are interesting. They are packed with knowledge, values. We can't write books now that do not carry knowledge and value. That's the whole essence. So your child will be reading books that have African theme. So there's the African thing to the book. There's the African, touch to the books, and then of course there is moral right inside of there. There is skills right inside of it. So there's all of this in one book. So the child is entertained, the child is learning, the child is building, the child is creating, and the child is becoming by just reading the book. So the first set of books we wrote are my first book series. We have 3 books in my first book series, this one. So we have My Shining Lights, and I am a shining light, right? So this book talks about, it's about Nini and her, it's about Bami and her toy Nini. So it's called Look, Nini, Look, I Am a Shining Star. All right. So this is Bami trying to share her world with her teddy bear, Nini. Now, someone had said to me, oh, is it for girls? No, it's not for girls, right? We project a lot, in our children. So for your 0 to 6-year-old, your 0 to 6-year-old is not even thinking in terms of what is for a girl or what is for a boy, at this point, right? They are not even in that space yet. Now, a teddy bear is actually it's actually a stuffed toy. It's a universal toy. It's a stuffed toy. It's a universal toy. Any child, anybody can use a teddy bear. A boy can have a teddy bear. Remember, the teddy, even in this case, is wearing, the jacket and a bow tie. So this teddy, for your child, he probably thinks teddy is a boy, This teddy is a boy. And of course, you don't want to make your child feel like if a girl is in a story, you don't have any business with it. I mean, we are all together now, boy, girl, child, so his sister. So think about it like his sister is the character in the story. So no, this is not the time that will be like, oh, because it's a girl that is the character in the story, a boy should not touch it. No, we don't want to bring that mindset into raising these children. It's a girl that is a character in the story. But we can read about the girl and what she's doing with her toy. The toy is a universal, stuffed toy, and any child can read or any child can play with a stuffed toy with a teddy bear. So that's it. So look, Nini, look, I'm a shining star is all about Nini telling her toy how her parents have told her that she is a shining star. Okay, Nini is growing and Nini is identifying with who she is. Nini is growing and Nini is proud of who she is. Nini is growing and Nini knows who she is because she knows who God says she is. God made me good. God made me bright. Daddy told me who I am, holding me tight. So you see that. Now, Nini, that's that's the father already going on the journey of the child understanding her identity and where that identity comes from. First, the identity comes from what God says the child is, and the child knows this right from when they are age 0. And that identity also comes from daddy telling you who you are. So if my daddy has told me who I am, who are you to come and tell me I am less? So this is it from as early as possible. Look at the sky, so big and so deep. When the sun goes away, the world goes to sleep. Nini understanding her world. Daddy says, I am just like that star up high, but I light up the sky. I may be small, but I light up the sky. If you read this to your child every day, you read this to your child every evening, you read this to the child every time the child wants you to read the story, and you think that child will struggle with who she is, that child will know who she is as early as possible. Very powerful book. Look, Nene, look. So you want to grab a copy right now. If you get these books right now, you get them at a 20% discount. Yes. They are board books, so it's highly durable. Every page is a board book. Highly durable, colorful, beautiful, done excellently, right? So after now, you will be getting it at this price. It is still as a bundle, and you can still get it as a bundle right now. So it's discounted, and you can still save. You can still save a good amount of money just buying before the end of the 31st of July. And then this one is My Big Feelings. This is us already teaching our 2-month-old and 3-month-old and 4-month-old about their feelings and how to regulate their feelings. So this is Bami, who has learned about her feelings, and she must have internalized it for Bami to be teaching or telling Nini about this. You see that? So big welcome. Yeah, we welcome Nini. And then look at Mommy. Mommy has a big smiley face. It means Mommy is happy. We're teaching children how to name their feelings. It means Mommy is happy. I am happy too because Mommy said we can play outside. Look, Nini, look. A visitor is here. Let's know it and let's name it. Happiness is visiting us today. Welcome, Happiness. Now, this is our children understanding. In this book, I've made the children, or I've created, a tool for you, dear parents, to make your child understand that, their feelings are, first of all, welcome. They are a part of, they are growing, right? They're part of them. So they are welcome whenever these feelings come. But when the feelings come, they should name the feelings. What am I feeling right now? Children need to learn how to name what they are feeling and then allow themselves feel these feelings, whatever the feeling is. Because in this part of the world, what we do is we don't acknowledge our feelings, and so we don't validate those feelings. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be happy. If something has made you that way, but it's what you do with that feeling that is very important afterwards. So our little children are learning that you will be happy. What are you right now? Name that feeling. You could be sad sometimes because you don't have control over everything right around you. So something could make you sad. But what's important is that you can name the fact that I am sad right now. Now welcome that feeling because it is there. Allow yourself, express, feel it. But you cannot allow the feelings control you. That's what they are learning. So they learn to accept that this is how I feel right now, and then escort that feeling out afterwards, because the feeling is not supposed to be there forever. And this is how we're teaching them this. He says, look, Nini, look. Daddy has a droopy face. He is sad because his favorite mug broke. So the child is able to identify, just looking at daddy, what daddy feels, what daddy's feeling. So look, Nini, look, a visitor is here. Let's know it and name it. Sadness is visiting us today. Welcome, sadness. It is okay to feel sad sometimes. But what do you do afterwards? When sadness comes, we feel it softly and then we let it go. Bye-bye, sadness. I hope I don't see you soon. All right. So beautiful books. You want to walk your child through the journey of life by showing them how to deal with their big feelings. And that starts by you being able to name those big feelings, teaching the children how to regulate when they have those big feelings, and then how to deal with those big feelings and see them off by telling them bye-bye. And then the last one is you and me. This one is all about friendship. Teaching the children about friendship as early as possible, about friendship, about relationships, whether it's relationship between them and their siblings, them and mommy, them and daddy, very key. Look, Nene, look. It's beating so true. God loved me. My heart is beating so true. God loved me first, and he loves you too. So this is Nini already sharing, friendship with her. This is Bami already sharing friendship with her toy or with her stuffed teddy bear, Bami, Nini rather. We are made to live together, to love and to share, to look at each other with kindness and care. So you see that. So beautiful books. These 3 books in our first book series. These 3 books in our first book series, you can get them right now as a bundle with this amazing book loaded with stories from Africa, African stories, where old grandpa Oga tells stories to children in different scenarios. This book is packed with values, knowledge, insights, right? And the children will learn so much. Now, this is the caveat. You get to read this book to your little ones. So we've just given you the perfect bedtime story book. So you have a collection of stories that you can read here during pillow talk or bedtime with your children. And we have these 4 books, right? You can get this as a bundle for your 0 to 3-year-olds. Beautiful. Even better, you can add our little mind series for your children up to ages 6. This one is beautiful. It still tells about the same story, about feelings, about you being a little light that shine. And then this one talks about money. So this is about children having their first education or their first education about money, learning about money. And then, it's called My 3 Piggy Banks. Such a beautiful book. Let me read a bit from My 3 Little Piggy Banks for you. All right. So now this is a perfect transition book for that child, ages 4 to 6. And if your 7-year-old is still, not a big reader, they could also read this book. Okay. So first of all, the book is age appropriate. And then the size is one that the child would not be scared of. So the child is intrigued. Now, it is written in a style that helps every child wants to pick it. Now, your children who are growing older and they want to feel like big boys can see themselves, oh, now I can read a chapter book because it looks like, big boys book. Well, it's choppier. The chapters are choppy with lovely pictures, and all of that. So let's read a part of this, for you. It says here that Brian is funny, very funny, but Brian has a big problem. He takes other people's things and forgets where he puts them. One time, my favorite toy disappeared for 3 whole days. Another time, mommy's wig brush ended up inside his toy truck. He doesn't even wear wigs. Brian never remembers where he puts anything. Now, this is us already teaching the children. Part of financial education is knowing that everything belongs somewhere. Being able to take care of your thing is a part of, being able to organize your space is a part of you already learning some of this. So I'll read a part. I'll read another part for you. Okay, the food, okay, let's see. Mimi had just eaten and Mimi went, the food is delicious, but Mimi soon stopped eating. I am full, she said. Before I could stop her, Mimi walked into the kitchen, to the kitchen trash bin and poured her remaining food inside. My eyes became wide in surprise. Mimi, I shouted. Just then, Mommy walked into the kitchen. She looked at the bin, then she looked at us. No, nobody spoke. Brian slowly drank his water. Mimi looked at the floor. Mommy sat down on her kitchen stool so she could look at us properly. Okay, let's finish that part. In this home, we don't waste food, toys, or anything useful, she said gently. Wasting things is like throwing blessings away. Many people work hard so you could have this food to eat. The farmers, the market seller, and Daddy and I. So you see that. So you can imagine how that story ended, right? So that's the children right there learning that. So there's a part I should add there. So Brian and I looked at each other. So Mommy looked at Brian, and that means taking care of our toys too, so we don't waste them. So that's the children, your 5-6-year-olds having their first, education, that how you take care of your things and how you take care of what is given to you is part of, financial education. So you see children getting their foundational knowledge, of money right there at home, just reading these stories. So we have 3 of this book in this series. Beautiful. Okay, so it's for your 4 to about 6-year-olds. So they make up all together these 6 books and the storybook make up a bundle for your 0 to 7-year-olds. So you can get all of this also at a 20% discount and save as much as, I think, 5,000 or thereabouts if you buy them before the 31st, okay, before the end of tomorrow, okay. And then the big ones for the bigger kids. So we have this beautiful books in the Skill Up series. This one is in my mind. It's all about how your teenager or how your preteen views different situation compared to what they truly are. You agree with me that what's going on in the head of your preteen or in the head of your teenager, in many cases, are actually different from what is going on. Is actually different from what is going on in your head, right, as an adult. So this is us, zooming in on the story of Tega, and how, helping Tega see things from other perspective besides his own perspective. Amazing book. Do you ever feel like your mind is a wild, noisy roller coaster? Meet 11-year-old Tega. He loves playing video games and football, but sometimes his feeling gets so big that he wants to shout, he wants to hide, and he wants to run away. So this is such an amazing book for your 7, 8, 10, 12, even up to your 12-year-olds. They will. I mean, this is packed with skills, of course, in story manner. So we tell these beautiful stories where the children, get to learn concepts and get to learn, skills, from the character in the story. And so they get to learn how to deal with some of these things just by reading the story and, seeing themselves in the character of the story. Amazing. And then this one, oh my goodness, this one is one of my favorites. Yes. Ah, it's for your boy, it's for your girl, even though, it's the girls doing most of the talking here. Okay. So it's for your boy, it's for your girl, and it's a huge, it's one of the most beautiful thing or beautiful books your preteens and teenagers will read about friendship. Knowing how to, knowing the boundaries that you should put around yourself in your friendships and relationship. And of course, knowing your place in that friendship or relationship. So you know how to treat people and you know how to demand to be treated. All right. So it x-rays the life of, Ladidi, who went through, a time thinking she's lost her best friend because at some point she thought friendship meant her best friend is with her and no other person will ever matter. But that's not the reality. So let's put our young children in a place where they understand what friendship should truly look like, how they should treat their friends, and what they should accept or how they should accept being treated by other people, even if these people are their friends. And just how to manage friendships. So it's such a beautiful read, right? It's for your boys, it's for your girls. They will love it. So if you have a child that is particularly into friendships, like my daughter, then get this book. That should be the first book that they should read, right? Because you want to be the one to teach them how to navigate the friendship zone. It's a beautiful zone, but it's one of the easiest way for your child to get their first heartbreak. Yes, it could be from that friend, that seatmate, that classmate, that neighbor, that cousin who has moved from where every other person is to becoming the bestie. And the bestie can do something that can break your child's heart even more than you can break their heart. All right. So we want to help them navigate. So that book. And then lastly, Bedtime Stories to Champion Volume 2. If you read my first book ever, my bestseller is Bedtime Stories for Champions. Where's Bedtime Stories for Champions? Why don't I have Bedtime Stories for Champions here? Right. So if you read Bedtime Story for Champions, then you should read Volume 2. It's another 20 young, amazing people around the world who are doing great things. This is packed with inspiration. This is packed with, inspiration. It's packed with, it's motivation. It's packed with, people, the story of people who are living in their purpose every day. What's better way to remind your preteens and teenagers that, service, impacts, and purpose are part of why God created them. What better way to remind them that they are not too young to start living out the life that God has called them to? What better way to remind them that they carry something inside of them, all right, and that they have superpowers and they can start using those superpowers to be a blessing to the world, no matter how young they are. So this beautiful Bedtime Story Volume 1, we just gave you Bedtime Story Volume 2. All right. This for your older children, your 7 up to your 12-year-olds. Let them read the story of 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds who are already making a difference in the world, so that they can see that these are ordinary people like them who just dared to serve, who dared to impact, and who dared to live their purpose every single day, knowing that purpose is today and it's not hanging anywhere and it's not lost, but we live it out every day through the things that God has put inside of us, through the superpowers that we have, and how we choose to hone, to harness, to practice, and to use those superpowers. All right, so these are all our books, and you can get them right now, today through tomorrow, at a 20% discount. After now, it'll be back to full Sorry, the network threw us out, for a bit. So yes, to get all of this book between now and the 31st, okay, between now and 11:59 on the 31st of July at a 20% discount, you can use the link in my bio or the information or link in the comment section to pre-order your copies right now. Okay, after that, the price will come back to normal. So let me ask you, I don't even understand. I've been here for almost 2 months talking about these books. Why have you not bought a copy for your child? See, reading is not anything to joke with. And these books are they are the excellent book for your child to both get entertained and, get knowledge and get values and all of that. This book is everything wrapped in, or these books are everything wrapped in one. Go and get copies for your children, dear parents. Let the children read books. Let's normalize books, okay? Whether it's my books, whether it's other people's books, normalize books. Normalize reading books in the life of your children. Our daughter dragged herself to work with me today simply because I told her that there are some books at Witty Minds, the supermarkets, the bookstore close to me that they were doing sales on. She decided to come to work with me today just so that she can go and get those books. When you introduce your children to book and you submerge them in books as early as possible, you give them a skill that they would benefit from for the rest of their lives. People who read books are not afraid to learn. People who read books are not afraid. They're not bored with learning. People who read books easily adapt to any situation or any place that they find themselves. Because what does it mean? It just simply means I find myself in a new situation. I find myself in a new place. What do? I do a lot of research about those things. But if you don't love to read, how you want research now? So because you don't want to read, researching becomes a problem. Because you don't like to read, you don't want to read the manuals that you need. People get into establishments, people even get jobs and they are giving offers. Because the offers are big, they miss the best part of the offer, or they miss the caveats to the offer because you don't like to read. So people get into trouble, every now and then simply because they can't bring themselves to read. You get into something and then you sign and you go away simply because you did not read. Something comes up in the future and they are saying, but you signed, and you're like, no, I didn't sign. Yes, you signed. You just did not read. People get into situations, they get into new places and they don't know how to navigate because you don't have time to sit down and read and study and learn about that place before you got there or as soon as you got there. So the world is fast changing. I was watching a video yesterday, and in that video, it was an interview my sister-in-law sent it, and someone was saying that they said a time will come where we would carry our phones about. This was sometime in the 80s or something like that. That a time will come where we'll carry our phones about, and that we might even be able to see people on our phone. And the people that were interviewed or talking to were like, no way. And then one of the people even said, why would you want to do that? Like, why would you want to do that? No, it's not, but are we not here today? So that's how our children will find it. We can't capture what the next 10, 20 years will be like. In the next 10, 20 years, where technology and all of that is taken, we can't. But you say the people who will thrive and the people who will survive are the people whose ground is fertile for growth. So these are the people who read. These are the people who research. That's why a lot of us from millennials and Generation X, a lot of us are feeling lost already because there's so many things you don't know. You get into a space and it's hectic for you because you can't navigate. Because you don't even have you can't just get yourself in that space where you can sit down, read and then do your research, learn, because you have not prepped yourself for learning. You are not a lifelong learner. So the easiest way to make your child a lifelong learner starting today is to get them to enjoy reading. When you enjoy reading, people who enjoy reading want to always know. They want to always learn. They want to always see what's new. They want to always see what's going on. And it's that curiosity and that need to know what's more that makes you know more. So if you don't have it, you won't know. So this is it. And these things are not taught. No, they are not taught in school. These things are imbibed. These things are cultivated. And that cultivation is what happened during the foundation. What happened in the earliest part of your life. When you see an adult who struggles with reading, who struggles with writing. Sometimes you see people raise children who will reparent themselves. Why do we want to raise children who will go into places and have to struggle, from humiliation to, being slow, to being whatever, simply because when it was necessary, the people who were important receiving your orders. We are here, we're ready. The team is fully on the ground, to receive all your orders. So order the books and have them. You will buy them later because they are that important. Buy them for the parenting through mentorship, academy, and PTM resources. Bye. Bye.